Okay, you guys, so I wanted to check in one more time about your annotated bibliography. You've already had comments from me on your one source annotation, so if there were any little pitfalls that maybe you fell into, you should understand how to get out of them by this point. So this is just a reminder video, nice and short, and just to really just nail down the information. Now, all this content can be found in the assignment requirements document and based on the comments that I made to you in your one source annotation. So let's think about it like this. In terms of what I'm expecting from you here, why am I expecting it? Because I think that can make the biggest difference. I've said it in earlier videos, but essentially, one, it helps me know that you've read and understood your source, okay? Two, it helps you know that you understand your source. And three, it's going to help you in the future by giving you specific details from each of your sources to utilize in future research assignments. Right? So as I said earlier in the term, the more time you spend on your annotated bibliography, the less time you're going to need to spend on later assignments. Okay, so if you've been putting in a lot of effort and time into this, amazing, you're doing great. If you're waiting until the last second to get started, this might be, setting yourself up for more work later. But just keep that in mind. So if you're putting in the effort, kudos to you, you're doing great. If not, well, we still have a little bit of time. So really double down and get those annotations done well. Okay, so the formatting of this particular assignment is MLA, right? Of course. The way it's going to look is you have to have your header and your heading, that normal stuff, right? With the proper spacing, proper font, all of that. And that's required for any assignment. So we should have that down pat. Now then we need to include a revised research question, okay? And look at my comments on your research question assignment if you have not yet. So put those into practice, right? Make any adjustments, be a little more specific if you need to, that kind of thing. Then what comes next is a tentative working title for your final essay. Now, of course, this will probably change, but it's important to get it down on paper so that you have something to build from, right? You don't want to add the title right at the end because, gosh, you haven't had time to think about it. So start now, and then we'll build it as we go through, okay? And then after your research question, after your tentative working title, works cited title. This is ultimately an expanded works cited page, okay? So after that, you'll have your annotations in alphabetical order, right? Starting at A, running through Z. And inside these annotations, what you'll find is three things. One is the works cited citation, properly formatted. The second thing is a paragraph that is specifically referencing ideas from your source. Now, these should be specific paraphrases and quotations, things like that, properly cited, again, of course, right? Because that's what we're doing. Anytime you're referencing an idea, whether it's using the language of the source in a quotation or it's using just the idea in your own words and sentence structure as a paraphrase, you need to cite it. Okay, that is super, super, super important. Now, this first paragraph should be referencing the ideas of your source. Your ideas should not come into play up in this first paragraph of your annotation. That's the second paragraph. In the second paragraph, you're showing me how your source intersects with the ideas that you're trying to develop for your research question. Okay, so you need to make sure that you're interacting, showing interaction between your research question and your source. What part of the research question is it answering? And it's important to remember that it's not going to answer your whole research question. Okay? It's not. So if you're trying to figure out how it does the whole thing, it's probably not going to. And if it does, well then, you don't need to write your essay because it's already done, right? So find, these sources should be helping you answer part of your research question. Make sure that when you're showing your reader how they intersect with the research question, that you're specific, okay? Don't be vague and general. No, the more specific you can be, the better this will help you in the future. Remember, that's our ultimate goal. Okay, then the final sentence of your second paragraph should be telling the reader why you know the source is scholarly. Because part of this assignment is being able to know what's the difference, right? What is popular, what is scholarly? You have found scholarly sources, you've weeded them out. Okay, remember that cannot be, I found it on Galileo. There is a lot of popular sources on Galileo, and that's not enough to define that. Okay, so you need to think about the author and the audience, like we've talked about in earlier videos. Okay, and then that kind of culminates one annotation. We move on to the next, and we do that in alphabetical order. And then at the end, right, we have a full works cited page, just a standard works cited page like you would expect. Don't forget to put your primary source in with your annotations as well, but you don't need to annotate it. That's just there as a bit of a placeholder, okay? And then your primary source should be in your full works cited page at the end as well. All right, so those are the reminders, for this assignment. Hopefully that helps you tie some loose ends together. And if you have any questions, of course, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. All right, I'm looking forward to seeing your annotated bibliographies, and I will see you next time.